It's 2 in the morning in a hostel in Chiang Mai, and you're sitting on the top bunk with a laptop balanced on your knees because there's no desk. The fan overhead does nothing. A German backpacker 3 beds over is snoring, and you're squinting at a spreadsheet trying to figure out if you can afford to stay another month on the $412 sitting in your account. This is the fantasy, right? The beach, the freedom, the passport stamps. Except nobody tells you the truth. Being a digital nomad is not one lifestyle. It's a ladder. And the view from the bottom rung and the view from the penthouse are so different, they might as well be different planets. So, let me show you exactly how your freedom scales, dollar by dollar, level by level, because the rules change completely at every step, and almost nobody sees the whole board. Level 1. Net worth, 0. Maybe negative, if we're being honest, because you've still got a student loan payment auto-drafting on the 15th. You've got a laptop, a backpack, and a dream you read about on a blog. Your entire operation runs on hostel Wi-Fi that drops every time someone microwaves noodles. You are what the community lovingly calls a laptop warrior. And the warrior part is not a joke, because everything is a battle. You wake up not to an alarm, but to sunlight through a curtain that doesn't close, and the first thought in your head is a number. How much did yesterday cost? You track it obsessively in an app. Street pad Thai, 40 baht. A coffee you shouldn't have bought, 60. You've learned that the cheapest way to eat is to find where the tuk-tuk drivers eat, and you're proud of that knowledge like it's a diploma. Your income is freelance, unpredictable, terrifying. A client pays late, and suddenly you're rationing. The freedom here is real, but it's a specific kind of freedom. It's the freedom of having nothing to lose. You can move to a new country on 48 hours notice because your whole life fits in one bag, and there's a purity to that, a lightness. But make no mistake, you are not surfing the system yet. You are surviving it. Every decision is filtered through scarcity, and scarcity is exhausting. You tell people you're location independent. What you really are is broke in a beautiful place. Level 2. Net worth around 50,000, and the whole texture of your life shifts. This is the point where the numbers stop being a threat and start being a tool. You've got maybe 6 months of runway in the bank, and that cushion changes how your brain works. You're not counting individual coffees anymore. You upgrade out of the 12-bed dorm and into a private room in a co-living space in Lisbon or Bali. 800 a month, and it comes with fast fiber, a desk, and other people who do exactly what you do. That's the real upgrade, by the way. Not the room, the network. Because at this level you learn the first hidden rule of the game. Your income is no longer tied to your hours. You've productized something. Maybe you run a small agency. Maybe you sell a course. Maybe you've got 3 retainer clients who pay on the first without you having to chase them. You start optimizing things the level 1 you didn't even know existed. You get a tax residency in a country that doesn't tax foreign income. You open a Wise account, so you're not bleeding 8% on every currency conversion. You fly with carry-on still, but now you'll pay the $90 to skip the layover because your time finally has a price tag, and you've started to respect it. The freedom here is the freedom of choice, not just where to go, but whether to work today at all. And that, quietly, is the biggest jump on the entire ladder. Level 3. Net worth $500,000, and now you're not a nomad, you're an operator. The business runs whether you open the laptop or not, because you've hired people. And that's the line almost nobody crosses. You've got a virtual assistant in Manila handling your inbox, a contractor building the product, and you check Slack twice a day instead of living inside it. You've stopped renting the private room. Now you lease a 2-bedroom apartment on a 6-month contract in a city you actually like. Mexico City, maybe, or Barcelona, because you've discovered that constant movement isn't freedom. It's friction. The real players slow down. You've got a second passport application in progress, or you've already bought residency somewhere through investment because you understand now that a passport is not an identity, it's a portfolio of options, and you're diversifying. You fly business on the long hauls, not to show off, but because a flatbed means you land able to work, and the $4,000 ticket pays for itself in one good day. You've got an accountant who specializes in expats and a structure that would make the level 1 you dizzy. Here's what nobody tells you about this level, though. The money stops being the interesting problem. You've solved money, What you're managing now is attention, energy, and boredom. You have so much freedom that the challenge becomes deciding what's even worth doing. And that's a problem the person in the hostel bunk would kill to have. Level 4. Net worth 2 million, and the whole concept of a home base dissolves. You don't have an apartment anymore. You have 3. There's the one in Lisbon, with the tax deal you locked in years ago, the one in Dubai where your company is domiciled, and the income tax is exactly 0, and the pied-à-terre in Mexico City you keep because you like the food, and the flights are cheap. You don't pack a bag between them. Each place already has your clothes, your second laptop, your preferred coffee in the cupboard. You've stopped thinking in trips and started thinking in seasons. You winter where it's warm, you summer where it's cool, and the calendar bends around your comfort instead of the other way around. But the real shift at this level isn't the properties. It's that you've stopped touching the friction yourself. You have a fixer, a person in each city who handles the visa renewal, the car, the doctor who speaks English, the reservation at the place with a 3-month waiting list. When you land, there's a driver holding a sign, and you never once looked up the exchange rate. You've got a family office structure now, or the beginning of one, a lawyer and a wealth manager who talk to each other so you don't have to. Your money makes money while you sleep, across 9 time zones. And here's the rule that clicks into place at 2 million. Geography is no longer a constraint, it's a lever. You choose your country the way, level 1, you chose a hostel, by price and vibe, except now the price is the tax rate and the vibe is which nation's laws protect your assets best. You're not escaping the system anymore. You've started to arbitrage it. And the passport in your pocket? You've got 2, working on a 3rd, because you've learned that a border is just a rule and rules can be purchased. Level 5. Net worth 10 million, and the word nomad doesn't apply to you at all anymore. There's a term the people at this altitude actually use for themselves. Global citizen. And it sounds pretentious until you see what it buys. You don't fly commercial for anything under 4 hours because you've done the math on a shared jet card, and your time is now worth more than the fuel. There's no security line, no gate. You drive onto the tarmac, walk up the stairs, and your wheels up in 20 minutes with the coffee still hot. You have a staff, not a fixer, a staff, a chief of staff who runs your life like a business, a chef who travels with the household for the long stays, a security consultant who quietly checked the neighborhood before you ever arrived. You don't own 3 apartments. You own a portfolio of residences, and a company holds each one, so your name never appears on a deed. Your children, if you have them, hold 3 citizenships by design, chosen before they were born, for the doors each one opens. But here's the strange truth. At the top of the ladder, the thing the person on the hostel bunk could never have guessed. The freedom stops being about escape. When you can go anywhere, instantly, without friction, the destination stops mattering. What you're buying at 10 million isn't a beach. It's the absence of logistics. It's never waiting, never explaining yourself at a counter, never being subject to a schedule you didn't set. You've bought your way out of the one thing every other level was still fighting, the tyranny of other people's systems. You don't surf the board anymore. You own the ocean. And that's the whole ladder, from the top bunk to the tarmac. But go back to that hostel in Chiang Mai for a second. 2 in the morning, the fan doing nothing, $412, and a spreadsheet. Here's what the view from the top actually reveals. The global citizen with the private jet and the 3 passports is chasing the exact same thing the broke kid on the bunk already had for free. Lightness. The kid can leave in 48 hours because he owns nothing. The billionaire can leave in 20 minutes because he owns everything. Both of them, in their own way, are trying not to be held down. Every rung on this ladder is just a different price you pay for the same feeling, and the currency changes from courage to money as you climb. The people at the bottom think the top is about luxury. It isn't. It's about never having to wait, never having to ask, never being told no by a system you didn't build. So the real question was never how much freedom your bank account can buy. It's what you'd actually do with a life where nothing and no one can hold you in place. Because that view from the penthouse and that view from the bunk, look closely. They're staring at the same horizon.